You're gonna know if this is for you, if you're dealing with a breakup of some sort. So if you are going through some of that, and perhaps it's not pleasant, perhaps there is a lot of frustration, irritation, what we want to say is that, first of all, if you're in a situation where you don't feel safe, because your feelings, they never lie. So if you don't feel safe, it is wise to sort of like it's wise to start to develop a bit more like, okay, I need to do something here. Like I actually have to take some action to get the body out of the situation that it's in. Because you have to just first look at the situation really calmly with an objective eye, objective lens, without the feelings and the pull of like, oh, I just feel like this or feel like that, or these natural impulses to the body that it's just been this habit of doing for so long, and it's like it's an addiction, it's a habit. If you see that what you're doing with your body is not giving you the results that you want, it's not producing the realities on the outside, you have to do something different. And the first thing is to feel the body. What does the body feel? If you're disconnected, connect first, or get your body into safety. Because sometimes, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why people may or may not feel safe. But that's really, like, if you're thinking about the human being in its optimum main operation from a soul level, you are the soul. And you are not your body. But your body is still your responsibility while you are slapping around in one. You know, like it's like you can say that you're not your body, and that is true in concept, but that's just to distinguish the I am, sort of the soul and the energy from the body, so that you know what the body is. And once you've identified that clearly in your space, you can start to maneuver. Okay, how my body feels like this and like that. And sometimes you just have to allow the body to go through it, but monitor while you're allowing your body to go through it, because the body needs to go through what it needs to go through. And there's a lot of memories and a lot of things, but if the partner is still in the same vicinity, it's not a safe space to just fully heal necessarily. It could be that there it depends on the situation. But what is some people can make this, which is to actually heal in the same room. You can do that. We didn't do that. We couldn't have done that. But it is possible. But it's a little bit difficult. We would say our recommendation would be to first get to safety, so that get realize what needs to happen. What truth do you need to hear from this person? We would go there, those things, what, get to the bottom of things. If there is no bottom, sometimes it's just good to okay, it's just too much chaos. So let's just, if it's been too much entanglements, it just needs to be a clear cut and just, okay. But it's healthy to separate. It's not the healthiest, although sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes the situation is the way it is. And that's okay too, by the way, because there is no accidents here. Gaia is working in mysterious ways to orchestrate meetings of certain people that can spark magical things in your reality. However, just as a baseline, getting to a place that you can be alone with your body is very healthy. Not just the odd out and then you sort of come back to the same toxic frequency, because it is a frequency that is the habitual. And if you want to get out from that frequency, you need to reject the energy. Not the entire being. We're not saying that the being is at fault here. There's no such thing. It's just energy play that have been allowed for too long, and then they're out of balance. And there can be many of those. And that is what you say that it's complicated. Because if you have a lot of things that is out of whack, that's usually when you say that. This is about getting back into equilibrium with the self, mind and body. And for that, usually it's good to disengage from the energy so that you can, because it's like an open wound, and it's like, if you live in the same way, it's like you're irritating the wound a little bit. If the other person is not, changing, or there is no attempt of resolution, it's just whatever it is. It's like it's healthy to just deal with it to the best of your ability and start to inject boundaries. My space, your space, whatever you can to inject more of a healthier, okay, this is me now. I have to come to terms with this. This is what it is. Can it be saved? If both parties will, of course. But if there's too much chaos, sometimes it's just easier, at the very least, to just be separate properly, both in, and what needs to be separated, the physical vessel, financial ties, whose thing is this yours or mine, all of those things, simple as they may seem, those are necessary in order to fully close a chapter, to move on to a new chapter. That is sometimes what's needed. And then take the learnings with you, and to the best of your ability, close with appreciate the things that you learned from that experience, and what you have decided that you will not do again, and what person and what energy you're going to be more of as a springboard towards what you now want. You see? But you can't jump steps. The body knows. And the best you can do is to guide the body to the most harmonious place that you can. Allowing the body to receive the right knowledge, the right nutrition, the right perspective to get back online. Truly. Perhaps there is a bit of my father, my mother, or his father, his mother, and some of those things that sort of gets played out. If you can see those things and unravel that, that might be the next chapter, perhaps. Especially if it's entangled and not fully resolved. It doesn't have to be fully resolved in the physical sense, as long as you do what you need to do in order to do what's correct for you moving forward. Knowing that you can it's okay for you to maneuver your life in the way that you deem safest for your body. That's your job, really. We haven't been taught that very well. We haven't been taught to look after our body properly. We've been taught to sacrifice or to give of ourselves, that's love, and then we're expecting it to come in return. And then if it doesn't, then it's it's a lot of these things, and that's like, it's the disappointment of the body, but it is also the I just gave of myself. I need to give to myself in order for me to receive. I see. You see, it's things like this, you know? And it's about sinking into the truth of the body, the truth of what your body has gone through, that you didn't save it from, sort of, that you didn't see. That's the knower, that's the comprehension, that's like, I didn't see that. You know, I can look after my body better than this. That becomes the game, you know? And we're saying this a little bit playful because it is playful, but it's also serious. If someone or something is not the way you want it to be, it's your job to okay, how can we make it better? It's natural. But sometimes it's not what we can do, but it's just Gaia is saying, you need to be this person in order to balance out this energy. And that might be a big jump. Sometimes it might be. Or sometimes it's just enough already. Enough of the same loops. You know? Life is not about going in loops. Life is about processing through the cycles. Yes, there are some loops, but there are cycles that you sort of use to your advantage to heal. And then you make sure that you are moving upward on that cycle. And that means that a lot of the things that sort of come up. This is what comes up. These tests come up in very specific moments. And they're tests from Gaia. How well are you looking after yourself, type of thing. You know? So that would be our main recommendation going through a breakup like this, and just allow the body to feel and pay attention if the feelings come from thoughts, because thoughts are not real necessarily. You don't know if they're real or not. You don't know if they're rooted in reality. They could be, but if the thoughts is leading to crazy, weird feel, don't entertain those thoughts. You know? It's just lessening those types of thoughts. They might come up again, but this is the habit. Like thoughts that come up, and then they're sort of like baits. You can sort of call them. Because if you sort of hang on to a thought, and then you let it, and then that produces sadness, that can be the loop. Oh, I'm just listening to thoughts that creates this. What the heck? What am I doing? Sometimes it can be that. What is the stories that is being played? They are important. It's not like don't just ignore them, but like write them down, and then, okay, this is the story. Is this a story that you want? After you've written it down. And then you start to, okay, so what can we do about this? And also include not just the mental and the writing, but also like, what do we need to inject? What do we need to inject into the situation? In order to balance out the scale so that we are looking after us again. That we don't just allow someone to do whatever, right? That there starts to be some movement there. It's very healthy. We hope that this helped. If you want to join us, because this is the thing, like we know what's needed here, and it is the repetition. That's why we have this consciousness program that we go in 28-day rounds, and they are very honest processes, very honest from our perspective when we went through exactly this same journey to sort of untangle and to make sense of things. And that whole process has gotten us back on track where we are now. We were a mess before. We were crying ourselves to sleep. And we realized that it was a lot of repetitive thoughts that we entertained that was producing them. And once we realized that, it wasn't what we thought. They actually didn't care. No, it's like they might say that they care, but they actually, if they don't show the care, it's not care. That's what we realized. Like, fuck, we felt like we were being the most stupidest person alive. Like we are the odd one out. How can we realize? How can we, like, it's one of those aha moments, like, wow, when someone doesn't show care, they actually don't care. Then it's all words. That was such a big realization. But we actually not just intellectualized it, we made it part of our whole identity. This is who we are now. People show us if they support us or not in their action. That will always be the case. That trumps whatever nice blah 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 talk, you know? What is the action? Oh, can feel here. Just lots of things to move in the heart, you know? Come to terms with certain things, you know? Cry, the body's like, I thought I knew how this worked. And that's something that we had to go through. Realizing that, fuck, this reality worked completely different than what I thought. And what my training was. I'm so grateful that I've gone through this process, because it's just the habitual in a different way. And by the way, this is not a religious thing. Even though we have Jesus here. And we pray to Jesus. And we love Jesus. And we're channeling him very often through these transmissions. Yeah, it's this is what helped us move through all of this stuff. It was listening to Jesus, and we got him like this, and that we are very deeply grateful for, because it's my love. Jesus, all of that team. I know it's not just him, it's a whole team. And then there's Gaia. And both needs to be in sync and connected with your body. In harmony, in balance, for things to truly start to make sense. And it does make sense in the mind too, by the way, eventually. But there's a lot of purging of thoughts, and like, I thought it was like this or like that. And this is the process that we are guiding people through. This process of getting back in touch with reality. With the help of Jesus, the Ascended Masters, and the entire team that is helping this. Because we know that we're not alone. We know that there are we have so much help to move these energies, to shift those perspectives. We can't do this alone. We need them. But you also need to learn how it functions, so that you know that they can only correct your perspective, but you have to carry out the action. You have to sort of take that momentum that you got, the clarity that you got, and put it into action. And sometimes it's just this thing. Sometimes don't dealing with breakup, one day at a time. One day at a time. We're sending you so much love and blessings to your day. You got this. It becomes easier and easier, and sometimes these things, they're almost like energies that is getting released the more, that's what naturally happens with more energy. But to maintain it, there is an equilibrium between the mind and the body that we're teaching. And that's why we're doing this every single day, because it's not a one-time fix. It is a continuous process with what we call energetic truth to truly anchor. And what we are working on, because we have been in hermit mode practicing this with their guides, with his guides, our guides, your guides, if you wish, to shift every single day perspective, because we also see things crookedly. We're swimming in an ocean of crooked frequencies, so we need to be corrected every single day so that we are aligned to what's needed in the moment and how we can be best of assistance here. Breathe a lot. Breathe a lot. Stay with your body. Stay present with your body. Your body needs you to go through this. Your body needs you to go through this. We're sending you so much love and blessings to your day. Take care. Ciao.